Speaking of exciting, we've saved the best for last. We actually have Breakthrough T1D fund research happening right here in South Carolina, focusing on T1D cures. And tonight, we have a very special guest who is going to tell us a little bit about that. None other than the researcher over the trial. Please welcome to the stage, Dr. Leonardo Ferreira.
Good evening, Greenville. No? I will start by saying that walking up here to James Bond music, wearing a bow tie, talk about my research on type 1 diabetes is a bit of a dream come true, so thank you. My name is Leonardo Ferreira. I'm a scientist, and my goal is to make a world without type 1 diabetes. I am an immunologist. I study the immune system. And I started studying the immune system because most people see it as an army that protects us from infections, from cancer cells, and other things that are bad for us. However, sometimes the immune system goes rogue, attacks your own body. That's what's called autoimmune disease, the body at war with itself. One example is type 1 diabetes. Right now, here in the audience, you do not have to think about when you breathe, when your heart beats. But some of us do have to think about when our body makes insulin. Every time you eat, and I have to tell in the audience the toll that it takes, the finger pricks, the injections, the CGMs, the pumps. So why is that? Because type 1 diabetes patients are lacking the cell type that makes the hormone insulin that controls blood sugar. That is the beta cell. The beta cell is in your pancreas, a banana-shaped organ right in the center of your body, because it is central, so it had to be in the center of your body. Without these cells, which is what happens in T1D, you cannot make insulin. Again, because the immune system recognizes and kills those cells, even though they are your own cells, even though they do something that is essential for a normal functioning of your body. So what can we do? If you do not have beta cells, well, maybe you can make more beta cells. Easier said than done, but possible. We have pluripotent stem cells. I can take cells from any of you, take them back to my laboratory in Charleston, South Carolina at MUSC. And I can tell them to become pluripotent stem cells. They can become any cell type in your body. So I tell them to become beta cells. We can make enough beta cells to fill up this whole room from stem cells. No more need for cadaveric donors. These cells respond to sugar and make insulin on demand. So we have that. But is that enough? It is not. If all you have is a room full of beta cells and put them into a type 1 diabetes patient, that is as good as building a beautiful sandcastle right by the ocean, washing the waves, wash it away. So we need to protect these beta cells from the root cause of the disease, the evil immune system of the type 1 diabetes patient. So how to do this? Well, luckily for us, some immune cells are not obsessed with killing, with destroying, with eradicating. If the immune system were an army, it would have a general, and it does. That is called the regulatory T cell. Treg for short. The regulatory T cell, it regulates, it inhibits specific immune responses. People born without regulatory T cells develop autoimmune diabetes and many other autoimmune diseases. So nature has done the experiment for us. If you're born without these cells, you have T1D. So it stands to reason that if I manipulate, if I make these cells, maybe I can cure type 1 diabetes. Now, these cells normally do not directly talk to beta cells. They are not good friends. But we need that because, again, we need to specifically, uniquely, locally protect the beta cell from immune destruction in a type 1 diabetes patient body. So what we did was we took stem cells, genetically modified them, such that they have a unique molecule on their surface, a bait, if you will, that is unique on the surface of this cell. Nowhere else in the body can you find this flag, this bait. In parallel, we take patients' blood and we purify regulatory T cells, genetically modify them as well, now to have a receptor, another protein that binds to the ligand on the stem cell-derived beta cells. This is like a molecular handshake, an arranged marriage. I made these engineered regulatory T cells that become the bodyguards of the beta cells. With this technology, when you inject a type 1 diabetes patient with beta cells, you do not have to go alone. They go together with these bodyguard cells so that they can go in, start making insulin in response to blood sugar, and be protected while they're doing this. And so that is the vision that we have done animal studies now and ramping up to try in humans, in clinical trials. That is what's happening right now in Charleston, South Carolina. Now, this is in part thanks to you. Without you helping raise funds for this research, we could never go from studying stem cells, regulatory T cells, new genes, new molecules, new ideas that all come together in one beautiful arrangement. And we need this continued support such that these ideas can continue to happen and to be perfected and to be put to test in patients. Take Breakthrough T1D. Breakthrough T1D is all over the United States. Right now, the top state in terms of funding is Massachusetts, darkest one right there. The second state with most funding from Breakthrough T1D is California. How about us? How about South Carolina? Well, if we were to look on the website, 0. But not anymore. We now have $1,050,000 in my lab in South Carolina. And my ask to you is that make this just a beginning. Let's keep this momentum going. I just graduated my first PhD student yesterday. I had 2 more start this month. Make it 3, make it 5. We have so many ideas and such momentum going forward that I do believe we can make this idea become a reality for the millions of type 1 diabetes around the world. Thank you for your help.